Michael Jackson died because of the actions of Dr. Murray.
4 years is not enough! 4 years is not enough!
Experimental medicine is not going to be tolerated. And Mr. Jackson was an experiment. He engaged in this money for medicine madness.
I absolutely do believe he was murdered.
Thank you, America. Thank all the fans. Thank the prosecuting team, Walgreen. You were great. Everybody was wonderful.
We are not here to seek revenge. There is nothing you can do today that will bring Michael back.
Dr. Murray abandoned his patient. He has absolutely no sense of remorse, absolutely no sense of fault, and is and remains dangerous.
The hammer comes down on Michael Jackson's personal doctor, and a warning goes out to dishonest, greedy doctors everywhere. Hi, everyone. JaneValez-Mitchell back with you live from New York City. The medical establishment had better take a good long look in the mirror, because if you're prescribing meds for greed and profit, you are headed to the slammer. That's the message here, 2 years after Michael Jackson died from an overdose of propofol. 3 weeks after Dr. Conrad Murray was found guilty, his sentence was handed down. He got the max, 4 years in jail, and no chance of probation, even though he was eligible, but we'll have to see what actually happens. We'll have to see if he does more than a night or two in jail. We still don't know that right now. The judge, he was furious. He was livid. He actually came close to accusing Dr. Conrad Murray of blackmail. Remember when there was an audio recording made of a drugged-out, wasted Michael Jackson? Listen to this.
That tape recording was Dr. Murray's insurance policy. If there had been some conflict between Michael Jackson and Dr. Murray at a later point in time in their relationship, what value would be placed on that tape recording?
All right, and what he's saying essentially is that Dr. Conrad Murray was trying to blackmail Michael Jackson. Give me a call about all this. 1-877-JVM says, what did you take away from today's sentencing? 1-877-586-7297. Straight out to famed prosecutor Marcia Clark, author of the fantastic book, Guilt by Association. You'll read it in one rainy day. Marcia, an extraordinary condemnation, scolding, shout down, whatever you want to call it, from this judge. Basically, I couldn't believe my ears. We all were suspicious about that recording. Why did he make that recording on his phone of Michael Jackson slurring his words? This judge basically put it out there that he was trying to blackmail him.
True. And certainly that is one interpretation, Jane. I don't know that it's necessarily a definitive one. We're speculating, of course, about why the doctor might do that. We can't know for sure why. But it does seem odd. I mean, why would you make a recording like that at all? You know, it makes you wonder. It makes you speculate. You know, what is the value of that recording? And blackmail is certainly one very prominent notion that comes to mind.
I gotta say, I was really, really happy about how all this went down, because I've written a book called Addict Nation, where I talk about how we try to solve every problem that we have in this country with a pill, popping a pill, physical, mental, emotional, what have you. And a lot of times these doctors are hooking people on very, very serious, mood-altering, heavy-duty narcotics, things that are potentially life-threatening, very addictive. This sentence, I believe, was designed to have doctors quaking in their boots that they even think, if they even think about prescribing drugs for bad reasons like to make a buck, they could be in big trouble. Listen to the judge lay down the law.
Experimental medicine is not going to be tolerated. And Mr. Jackson was an experiment. He engaged in this money for medicine madness.
Howard Samuels, addiction specialist, founder and CEO of the Hills Treatment Center. I think this could be a turning point for the United States. More people are keeling over from legal prescription drugs than they are from illegal drugs. In many cases, more people are dying from prescription ODs than from car accidents. This is a crisis, and I believe this judge and the DA wanted to send a message.
Jane, you're absolutely right. You know, this is fantastic news. I mean, the prescription drug epidemic in this country is outrageous. And there are so many corrupt doctors that we are fighting in the treatment field and the recovery community. There are so many corrupt doctors that are out there over-prescribing for greed, Jane. This is giving a message to all of them that you better watch out because we're watching. And this, to me, is such a message that we can send to the medical community that it's time to stop this abuse.
After the sentencing, the Los Angeles District Attorney said almost the same thing. He issued a powerful, powerful warning to crooked docs out there and said, your days are numbered. Watch this.
The so-called feel-good doctors who, because of their greed and selfishness, abandon their ethics and put other people in harm's way.
The DA said the #1 cause of accidental, unnatural deaths is prescription drug overdoses more than fatal traffic accidents. Now, it's certainly either that or close to it. Tom Connett, I just thought it was marvelous that essentially they used Dr. Conrad Murray as the extreme, crazy example. Somebody who was giving him gallons of a surgical knockout drug to say to all these doctors who were sitting around and writing scripts for profit, you better watch out.
Jane, my problem with all this is in, you know, sort of this public lynching of Dr. Murray, we're really shifting all responsibility away from Michael Jackson. Look, by all reasonable accounts, Michael Jackson led a very tumultuous life, had probably a lot of psychological and a lot of problems with substance abuse long before he met Dr. Murray. Dr. Murray may have not been a hero in this case, and he may have violated the standard of care in a lot of medical...
He violated the standard
of care. He did. You know what, Jane? We have a mechanism for dealing with that, and that's usually a medical malpractice lawsuit or a wrongful death lawsuit in which you can sue the pants off Dr. Murray, the AMA can revoke his medical license, he can suffer a lot of consequences. It's an extreme thing to bring this type of case into criminal court and to sentence someone to prison.
That's why I think it's effective. I think it's effective because I do believe doctors out there, if you're watching, give us a call. I think doctors who are watching this and thinking, did I prescribe that heavy-duty mood-altering medication to that 65-year-old lady? Was it necessary? Did she really need that? They don't know very much about addiction. Howard Savage will back me up on this. They don't know. Doctors are not trained in addiction. I'm a recovering alcoholic and an addict. I know how addicts will cleverly pretend to have severe pain to get the drugs that they want. I know the best way to get a good patient is to have a patient who wants to come back for those drugs again and again and again. I know the vast majority of doctors are caring, responsible people, but we have a cultural problem in this country. A cultural problem where everybody is being encouraged to, ask your doctor about this pill, ask your doctor about that pill. And if you don't get it, they go to another doctor. So we've got a whole cultural problem here, and I really hope that we start solving it. Let's go to the phone lines. Mary, Florida, your question, your thought, Mary.
Hi, Jane. It's really nice to talk to you. I watch your show every night.
Oh, thank you.
And I think you're awesome.
Thank you. I think you're awesome, too. What's your question?
My question is regarding just the overall outcome of the case. And what I want to say is I've been an RN for more years than I care to say. And any doctor that would do this, unfortunately, deserves even more than what he got. The charges in the case were probably not sufficient.
And I agree. You know, Mary, I agree with you. And let me tell you something. The prosecutor and the judge, they were, can I say, PO'd by the documentary that Conrad Murray made while he was on trial. Look at this from NBC.
I don't feel guilty because I did not do anything wrong. I'm very, very sorry for the loss of Michael. Michael is a personal friend.
He has absolutely no sense of remorse, absolutely no sense of fault, and is and remains dangerous.
Marcia Clark, famed O.J. Simpson prosecutor, did making that documentary backfire on Conrad Murray?
Oh, most certainly it did, as it should. I think it's appalling that he was doing a documentary in the course of his trial while these charges are pending, it's unbelievable to me that he would seek to profit from a case in which he was a defendant and caused the death of another human being. It's just incredible, and I'm really glad that the judge called him out on it. I'm glad that the judge mentioned it. There are many signs in this case that he is absolutely remorseless, and lack of remorse is an appropriate factor for a judge to consider in imposing sentence, and certainly Conrad Murray gave him ample cause to believe that there was no remorse in this case.
Well, Howard Samuels, I don't think Dr. Conrad Murray is addicted to anything, but he has the addict mentality in the sense that he is arrogant, defiant, and he has justified himself and is actually having a pity party, blaming Michael Jackson and saying he's the victim. Quickly, Howard.
He's addicted to greed, Jane. It is about money for that doctor, just like it is for a lot of doctors. It's addicted to greed. It's never enough. That is the addiction there.
All right, up next, my exclusive interview with the only juror who was behind closed doors who's speaking out. Juror number 5 is up next.